Animosity, Vera Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 10.92. Then Anathapindika the householder went to the Blessed One, and on arrival, having bowed down to the Blessed One, sat to one side. As he was sitting there, the Blessed One said to him, "When, for a disciple of the noble ones, 5 forms of fear and animosity are stilled, when he is endowed with the 4 factors of stream entry, and when through discernment he has rightly seen and rightly ferreted out the noble method, then if he wants he may state about himself, 'Hell is ended for me, animal wombs are ended, the state of the hungry ghosts is ended, plains of deprivation, the bad destinations, the lower realms are ended. I am a stream winner, never again destined for the lower realms, certain, headed for self-awakening.' Now, which 5 forms of danger and animosity are stilled? When a person takes life, then with the taking of life as a requisite condition, he produces fear and animosity in the here and now, produces fear and animosity in future lives, experiences mental concomitants of pain and despair. But when he refrains from taking life, he neither produces fear and animosity in the here and now, nor does he produce fear and animosity in future lives, nor does he experience mental concomitants of pain and despair. For one who refrains from taking life, that fear and animosity is thus stilled. When a person steals, then with stealing as a requisite condition, he produces fear and animosity in the here and now, produces fear and animosity in future lives, experiences mental concomitants of pain and despair. But when he refrains from stealing, he neither produces fear and animosity in the here and now, nor does he produce fear and animosity in the future lives, nor does he experience mental concomitants of pain and despair. For one who refrains from stealing, that fear and animosity is thus stilled. When a person engages in illicit sex, then with the engaging in illicit sex as a requisite condition, he produces fear and animosity in the here and now, produces fear and animosity in future lives, experiences mental concomitants of pain and despair. But when he refrains from engaging in illicit sex, he neither produces fear and animosity in the here and now, nor does he produce fear and animosity in future lives, nor does he experience mental concomitants of pain and despair. For one who refrains from engaging in illicit sex, that fear and animosity is thus stilled. When a person tells lies, then with the telling of lies as a requisite condition, he produces fear and animosity in the here and now, produces fear and animosity in future lives, experiences mental concomitants of pain and despair. But when he refrains from telling lies, he neither produces fear and animosity in the here and now, nor does he produce fear and animosity in future lives, nor does he experience mental concomitants of pain and despair. For one who refrains from telling lies, that fear and animosity is thus stilled. When a person drinks distilled and fermented drinks that cause heedlessness, then with the drinking of distilled and fermented drinks that cause heedlessness as a requisite condition, he produces fear and animosity in the here and now, produces fear and animosity in future lives, experiences mental concomitants of pain and despair. But when he refrains from drinking distilled and fermented drinks that cause heedlessness, he neither produces fear and animosity in the here and now, nor does he produce fear and animosity in future lives, nor does he experience mental concomitants of pain and despair. For one who refrains from drinking distilled and fermented drinks that cause heedlessness, that fear and animosity is thus stilled. These are the 5 forms of fear and animosity that are stilled. And which are the 4 factors of stream entry with which he is endowed? There is the case where the disciple of the noble ones is endowed with verified confidence in the awakened one. Indeed, the Blessed One is worthy and rightly self-awakened, consummate in clear knowing and conduct, well gone, an expert with regard to the cosmos, unexcelled trainer of people fit to be tamed, teacher of devas and men, awakened, blessed. He is endowed with verified confidence in the Dhamma. The Dhamma is well taught by the Blessed One, to be seen here and now, timeless, inviting verification, pertinent, to be experienced by the observant for themselves. He is endowed with verified confidence in the Sangha, the Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, who have practiced straightforwardly, who have practiced methodically, who have practiced masterfully. In other words, the 4 pairs, the 8 individuals. They are the Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples, deserving of gifts, deserving of hospitality, deserving of offerings, deserving of respect, the incomparable field of merit for the world. He is endowed with the virtues that are appealing to the noble ones, untorn, unbroken, unspotted, unsplattered, liberating, praised by the wise, ungrasped at, leading to samadhi. These are the 4 factors of stream entry with which he is endowed. And which is the noble method that he has rightly seen and rightly ferreted out through discernment? There is the case where a disciple of the noble ones notices, when this is, that is. From the arising of this comes the arising of that. When this isn't, that isn't. From the cessation of this comes the cessation of that. In other words, from ignorance as a requisite condition come fabrications. From fabrications as a requisite condition comes consciousness. From consciousness as a requisite condition comes name and form. From name and form as a requisite condition come the 6 sense media. From the 6 sense media as a requisite condition comes contact. From contact as a requisite condition comes feeling. From feeling as a requisite condition comes craving. From craving as a requisite condition comes clinging. From clinging as a requisite condition comes becoming. From becoming as a requisite condition comes birth. From birth as a requisite condition, then aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress and despair come into play. Such is the origination of this entire mass of stress and suffering. Now, from the remainderless fading and cessation of that very ignorance comes the cessation of fabrications. From the cessation of fabrications comes the cessation of consciousness. From the cessation of consciousness comes the cessation of name and form. From the cessation of name and form comes the cessation of the 6 sense media. From the cessation of the 6 sense media comes the cessation of contact. From the cessation of contact comes the cessation of feeling. From the cessation of feeling comes the cessation of craving. From the cessation of craving comes the cessation of clinging. From the cessation of clinging comes the cessation of becoming. From the cessation of becoming comes the cessation of birth. From the cessation of birth, then aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress and despair all cease. Such is the cessation of this entire mass of stress and suffering. This is the noble method that he has rightly seen and rightly ferreted out through discernment. When, for a disciple of the noble ones, these 5 forms of fear and animosity are stilled, when he is endowed with these 4 factors of stream entry, and when, through discernment, he has rightly seen and rightly ferreted out this noble method, then, if he wants, he may state about himself, "Hell is ended for me, animal wombs are ended, the state of the hungry ghosts is ended, plains of deprivation, the bad destinations, the lower realms are ended. I am a stream winner, never again destined for the lower realms, certain, headed for self-awakening."